Hello everyone and welcome back. Now in today's video, I want to cover data types. Now in Python, we have four main common data types, and they are strings, integers, floats, and booleans. Now first up, we have strings. Now strings are basically words or phrases that are wrapped around quotation marks. For example, the word John would be a string, or the word or phrase I love ice cream would also be a string. Now, when working with strings, make sure to use quotation marks. So, for example, I want to print I love ice cream. I am going to use quotation marks. Next, I want to talk about integers. So, integers are basically whole numbers without any decimal points. For example, the number 50 or 1000 or 27, those would be integers. So, let's say my age is equal to 50, and I just want to print the variable age. So when I run that, I should get 50 as a result. And notice that we don't use quotation marks when working with integers. The floats are pretty similar to integers. However, the only difference is that in floats, we can use decimal points. For example, 1.567, that would be a float, not an integer. So let's just say age is equal to 7.5, and we want to print age. And in this case, 7.5 is a float, not an integer, and of course, we don't use any quotation marks. Now, lastly, I want to talk about booleans. So, booleans are basically truth values, and they can only be true or false. For example, let's say name is equal to true. And let's say I want to print name. Well, then that's going to give me a result of true. And again, we don't have to surround true in quotation marks because true is a boolean, not a string. So to sum up, we basically covered four main data types that you are going to use all the time, and they are strings, integers, floats, and booleans. Now, it matters that you know what data you're working with, because for example, later in the future, you're going to have to combine strings to integers, and you're going to have to use specific ways in order to do so. So that pretty much sums up this lesson, and the next lesson, we're going to learn about mathematical operators.